while. Seems to be taking a little while to be streaming and setting up YouTube. Here it is. It's being live streamed. And okay. Okay, so we are in, this is the piece that we did quite quickly yesterday to end in time and in the theme. And let's start from it. And again, the theme is the will, Ratzon, and its place in our existence. So in notebook 2, לעולם צריכים לכוון. One always has to be careful to intend שלא יביא זיכוך המידות לחולשת המידות. That your process of purifying your character should not lead to weakness of character. That taharat haratzon, that purifying your will, should not lead to dildul haratzon, to weakening the will. And hashpa'at ha'emunah, and the influence of faith, should not bring us lebitul he'arat ha'sechel, to suppress the illumination of our intellect. We don't have to think. וכפי מה שיקוון אדם את דתו, and the more a person directs their da'at, their consciousness, l'shem ha'shalom v'ha'emet, for the sake of truth and peace, as we do that, yigale lo or Hashem, the light of God will be revealed to him, betzura yoter tmima v'behira, in a more complete, more luminous form. We're going to get a revelation of the light of God, but on a higher, more complete, luminous revelation, below dilam, that doesn't have any weakening. It doesn't become dull. It doesn't become weak. So that's as we can direct our consciousness to Shalom ve'emet, then Or Hashem will be revealed to us more and more completely, more illuminated, and Nachum, you're right in your time for the Amen here, because basically what Rav Kook is telling us is that if we can direct our consciousness to wholeness and truth, to something, the whole piece, and the truth, the will, what is the actual truth, then there the light of God will be revealed to us in a more complete, more luminous way, without any diminishing. It'll be a source of great strength. So we will be able to tap into what Or Hashem will be revealed to us in its most complete luminous form, and we can bring about a world of peace and truth. Venomar.
Amen.
Okay. you know. So that's we did that yesterday. We half did it. We did it quickly, but let's go to the next one. And the next one is found in these series of notebooks that were written in Yafo. Again, Yafo is the period where everything is opening up and he's discovering, and he also is not as busy as he was in Jerusalem, so he had more time to record everything he wrote. But he was also just discovering this was all new. He realized, here we are, Israel is now coming alive again. And it was in that context that so much of his Torah is giving us guidance. So this is in one of those notebooks. Okay, let's just go straight to the Chachmat HaMusar lo tichol lifroach. The whole wisdom, or the whole teaching of ethics, morality, will not flourish, it will not flower, im tiyela rak matara achat. If its purpose is, it just has one simple purpose, morality, which is la'amod neged haratzon hativi sheba'adam, to stand against the natural will of a human being. Say, no, don't do this, you can't do this. That entire voice of morality, it can't flourish if that's its own goal, is to stand against the natural will of the human being. Ki lefamim, because sometimes harbe tov, there is a lot of good, ganuz dafka beratzon hativi, is concealed specifically, especially in the natural will. וכשמחלישים את הנטייה הטבעית ממרצותה, and when we weaken our natural inclination from its path, from its course, well, מאבדים את המוסר עצמו. We lose ethics. Anyways, ומקלקלים את כוחו, and we're damaging the power of ethics. When ethics becomes a tool to suppress the natural will, then that's its impact. Al Kain. So what do we do with that? Because how many religions were like that? How many religions are like that? That I still think it's in the theology. And Al Kain HaMusar Mukhrach Liyot, therefore, the way of Israel is that the ethical force needs to be built, constructed, al pi hakara be'erech hatov, by recognizing the value of the good, u beyesodei hatechunot hanafshiot, and in the foundational qualities of our soul, that we have to recognize the good that's in the fundamental in our soul. Zadat ma ele ha'netiyot, and then so that we can discern, we can know which inclinations are those shebahen tzrichim lamod neged netiyat haratzon v'chofsho, So then we can figure out, no, to negate which inclinations we do need to suppress. There needs to be some discernment. It's not all and every. It needs to be done wisely by also seeing, I guess, how much good is in our core, and then we can see ma heina hanetiot. What are those inclinations? Shekol tuvan yavo, that their entire goodness will come רק על ידי מסירתן לתוך החופש הרצוני. Only by giving them over to the freedom of the will. We have to free our will. We have to free. What are the nitiot? What are those things that we have to free in order to impact, to bring out? So we have to build our morality, our what is the good thing to do, what's the wrong thing to do, by recognizing the value of the good. And I'm not sure, I'll just read that the way it is, the fundamental qualities of the soul. But we need to know which inclinations we must oppose the tendency of the will and its freedom of those inclinations. And it would be the inclination to anger. It would be inclination to, these are the negative ones. And then, which are the inclinations that we really have to let them free, whose entire goodness will come only when we give them over to complete freedom of will, kmo shehu kavua beteva ha'adam, and the way it is actually established in the human being, in the nature of the human, is to have the free expression for this part of ourselves. So here's a translation of, here's just the literal translation at the end. So let's read it all at once and see if it makes more sense. So the wisdom of morality, the morality cannot flourish if it only has one goal, and that's to oppose the natural will within a human being. Because sometimes a lot of good is hidden precisely within the natural will. And when we weaken our natural will, our natural inclination in our course, we end up, well, losing morality itself and corrupting its power. So we have to have a morality, an understanding of why we're doing what we're doing, for a morality doing good and not doing bad. But here it says we have to build our system of morality upon a recognition of the value of the good, and that, I think, within each of us, and of those fundamental qualities of the soul, what the soul really is about. So that then we know that which things are not an expression of the soul, such as that anger and that's what comes to mind, but those sort of behaviors. So therefore, we have to know which inclinations are the ones we need to be in opposition to giving them full freedom, and which are the inclinations that their entire goodness will only come when we're able to give them freely, the freedom of the will, the way we are built to do. We really are meant to do it. And so b'mehera b'yameinu, we have a system of morality that we can see what's truly bad, and it's not bad in the other, it's what's bad within me. And we can give complete freedom to our soul, and knowing that it's divine, and it's our, we're here to do this. This is what we're here to do, is to establish our freedom of will, to transform existence back into the Garden of Eden. B'mehera b'yameinu v'nomar.
Amen.
All right, let's go on. The next one is, it's also a fundamental one. If I was going to only choose, you can only, about this topic of Ratzon, only read a few of them. This would probably be one of them. And this is found in Notebook 1, so it's translated online. And let's read it. Written in Yafo, 1911. And the way the Yaakov David Schulman titles it, Nurturing the Will in Our Transitional Era. In this time of transition that Israel is now in, nurturing the will. So let's see what Rav Kook said. Haratzon hu mekor hachaim. The will is the foundation of life. It's the source of life. Ratzon ha'adam, the will of a person's will, hu be'emet, is truly yesod, the foundation, shichlulo v'havayato, is truly the foundation of the person's improvement, and his shichlul is also perfection, the havayato, and his being. Our will is the foundation of what moves us to grow, and our very being is all based on our will. Amnam, haratzon hazeh tzarich hu pituach ve'isui. However, will, this part of ourselves, this willful part, it needs development and work. Pituach ve'isui, development and endeavor. Yoter mikol hakochot kulam, more than all of the other powers we have. This power is a power that requires development, and isui, you could be saying, like, it's in the world of asiyah, endeavor. Beyalduta enoshiyut, when humankind was in their childhood, he's talking about when humankind was in his childhood, ha'ratzon hativi shel ha'adam, the natural will of the human, tzarich chinuch shel kniyah, requires an education of submission, shel shvira, of breaking or crushing, shel hifuch, of quelling it, keeping this down. Don't let this out. You have to. Was in much of history, when human beings were in their childish level, and also childish. Well, let's see where he goes from that. Kol zman sheha'adam olech u'mishtachrer. All the time that humanity is developing and improving, and again, the word shichlul, improve, is becoming more klali, becoming more universal. seeing the all and all of that, and acting out of that, understanding that every part is part of the all, and then every part is very special. Um, so as humanity develops and grows, כך רצונו העצמי, thus its essential will of humanity, הולך ונהפך לטובה, is moving forward and being transformed to the good, ושבירתו של הרצון, and then at that point, having an attitude of breaking the will, מאבדת טובה רבה, will lose a lot of goodness. At that point, we have to change our education and our whole our being. Hadavar kashem me'od. To do this is very difficult. Bedimdumei chama. At a time of the setting rays of the sun, as we're ending, as we're talking about historically implying, bein perek leperek, between one chapter and another, shebetkufa chashuva shel ruach ha'adam, during a significant era in the spirit of humanity, to do this, to transform. Well, let's just see what is so difficult. But he says, as we're getting more universal and our expression of good and our will for good is more part of our being, then we should not break that will. We have to grow that will. And he says this is something that's difficult, very difficult, at periods of transition, implying that we are at this period of transition. That's in this important period in the development of the human spirit, during a significant era of the spirit of humanity. she'az מעבר מזה, מונח הרבה פרעות ברצון, that at the first period, now the earlier period, there was a lot of wildness in the will. In the previous time, sheshvirato hi aliyah v'pituach. That to break that will is an elevation and a development. When the will is expressing pere adam, the wildness. On the one hand, the will possesses much wildness, and the breaking of it is ascent and development. But at the same time, munach beratzon koach or v'tov, is dwelling in the soul, in the will, a power of light and good. Sheshichlul ha'olam, that the perfection of the world, talui, depends, behash'arato al pi tchunato, to leave it to its nature, to leave it to be the way it is. The perfection of the world, the life of the world depends on it. It's that important. This matter is difficult at a time of the setting rays between one period of the history of the spirit of humanity, because there is the spirit of humanity which has had so much wildness and it needed to be broken down, the will. But the will contains a huge amount of power for light and good, and the improvement of the world depends on the will retaining its accordance with its good character. Yeah, that's a nice, accurate translation. Vehabina hayeshara, and the straightforward understanding. And again, yeshara is always a hint for Israel. The Israelite understanding, habina hayeshara, mukhrachat hi liftor bezehirut et she'elat hatchumin, has to solve carefully this question of these two realms. What part of our will do we break and not give, and what part do we give freedom for? So in order to understand that, a clear understanding must carefully solve this question of these two realms, באופן שיישאר האדם male omets, so that a human being will remain full of power, mitzad hatov sheberatzon, from the side of the good in his will, shekvar nishtachlel, that is already improved and moved forward, mitzad otam chelkei haneshama, from those parts of that person's soul, shekvar nig'alu, that have already been liberated, veyatzu mitohomot agehenem, and have already emerged out of the abyss of hell, umima'amakei haklipot, or from the depths of the shells. So let's read his translation here. We have to be really careful, clear understanding, carefully, so we can solve the question of these two realms, so that a person's will maintain the great might of the aspect of the good in his will that is already improved, the aspect of those parts of the soul that have already been redeemed, that have emerged from the chasms of Gehenna and the depths of the husks, and at the same time, male gamken daka'ut ruach, and also to be filled with a lowliness of spirit, v'tchuna shel lev nishbar v'nitka, and the character of a broken, oppressed heart. About what? Leumat otam chelkei aratzon, corresponding to those parts of our will, she'adayin chet ha'adam haraya, hara'a shru'a bayam, in which the human beings chayat ha'adam hara, their evil animal nature, is still immersed in, shehem tzrichim zikuch al yedei dichduch v'shvira. These parts need purifying by being crushed and broken. So we have to know what to free and what to break down, so that our divine, highest, best, most creative divine being is completely free. And then what humankind can do will be able to perfect the world, more or less. But this is what it takes. This is part of the thing. So let's just reread this one in English. So in this transitional era, first of all, we have to recognize will is the absolute source of life. And our will is the foundation of our improvement and our being. And the will requires more development, more work than all our other powers and abilities. When humanity, in humanity's childhood, the, the person's natural will required training that consisted of submitting, crushing, and quelling it. That was basically what even religions were about, the sincere part of them. But the more that humanity improves, the more its essential will is transformed to the good, then breaking that will ends up destroying a lot of good. You don't want to break that will. And this is very difficult at this time of transition as one era is ending and another one is being born. Between one chapter and another during this significant era. And the return to Israel is, of course, a huge um, the marker of the transition. This is the transition begins, and the prophets have been telling us for a long, long time, to the return to Israel. And so that's what Rav Kook is saying. Here we are, we're returning to Israel. We're going to have to change our relationship to morality and all that, and we have to develop the way of Israel, in which we can really free our absolute best and to do the most. So, but we're at the point where there's still much wildness. The breaking of it is elevation, improvement. But we also have the will that contains the power of light and good, and the improvement, the perfection of the world depends on that will retaining its accordance with its good character. So we have to really understand carefully and really think about it. This is what the rabbi should be giving us guidance with. Because Bina Yeshara, Lahavin, Derech HaYashar, is what Israel's about. Ezehu Derech HaYashar. And now that we're in this situation, we have to find it and express it and follow it in this situation. So we need to work it out so that we can maintain the great might of the aspect of the good in our will that is already improved, and give expression to the aspect of those parts of our soul that have already been redeemed and have emerged from the chasms of Gehenna. I read this a little differently post-Holocaust, by the way, in terms of it's not just poetic. And from the depths of the husks. And at the same time, we need to be filled with a lowliness of spirit in corresponding to those parts of ourselves which we're still immersed in the evil animal part. And that has to be purified by being crushed and broken. Look, in terms of what's happening in Israel, certainly the behavior, even if it's in response to what's going on, but that evil animal nature coming out, we're seeing it. And, I'm thinking the kids that are doing cruel things in Yehuda v'Shomron, the kids that are going wild. I see it in the behavior of some of the demonstrations, in the Haredi demonstrations, and on every side there is that being provoked and being pushed, and it's very, very difficult to deal with it, especially because they're under the impression that they're doing this for the good. It's this is, they're doing it to help God. So I want to bless us that we can truly understand what it is to be good, and that we can our will can bring about the improvement of the world, so that we can ratzon koach or v'tov. We have such a power of light and good that the entire perfection of the world, we, we can bring it about. And since we can bring it about, we have to bring it about. It's not something you can't. If you can do and not do, that would be is very, very wrong. So b'mhera b'yameinu, may Am Yisrael get it together and bring the whole world together. B'mhera b'yameinu v'nomar. Anybody out there to amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Oh,
Amen.
Woman.
okay, good. Let's see. The next one in this series is 435 in here. And
All's clear.
yeah, it's a notebook. This is also from a series of the early Yaffle notebooks. And we read an earlier portion of it, or it's a short one, but after this, I'll open the door. Ha-me'ulim ve'ha-mezukakim shebevnei Adam. The more elevated, more refined human beings, יש להם סכום גדול של רצונות טובים טבעיים. They have a great amount of good, natural good desires. The most excellent and refined human beings possess a great store of natural good desires. שדווקא בהולכם החופשי, that specifically and only through their free course, yashpiu letova al hamusar. They will influence morality for the good. There are these people that their will is just so much naturally good that it needs to be given complete freedom in order to really have a great impact of good. וכשיעצרו אותם, and if you should block these people, mitam hamusar, by given reasons of ethics, oh no, you can't do that, or for the sake of more things, ya'avdu mihem, you'll lose olam tova rabba, you'll lose much good. Will those people that are restraining these people, much good will be lost to them and to the world. So we have to understand. All right, so I can think of this if an example in terms of Rav Kook, because there were a lot of things that he was suggesting and saying that certain people were really freaked out in trying to stop him. And had them, they would have stopped the only progressive voice in Judaism. Let me open the front door and then I'll come back and we'll review it and do one more. Feel free to. Okay. So let's do it. Let's just go on to the next one. It's also online. It's in Tafshin Tetvav. That's Kuf Sadik Aleph. Shin Tetvav. Mm. I have to go back one screen here. Sorry. I had it. Sorry, the computer. Mm. You know what? Let's just go back to the next one I have on here rather than find that. All right. So this is connecting everything we've been talking about to the process of tshuva, because a lot of people, well, there's confusions here. And he says like this, because also in tshuva, and there's tshuva elyona with tshuva tachtona, the higher tshuva, the lower tshuva, and that's in all those sources. And he's going to relate to this. Yesh chisaron בתכונתה של התשובה הנמוכה. There's really a deficiency in the nature of the lower tshuva, because היא מחלשת את רצונו של אדם. It weakens the human will. ופוגמת בזה את אישיותו. And therefore it damages his being, damages his personality, his individuality. וחיסרון זה מתמלא הוא. And this lacking is filled, this deficiency is remedied. כאשר באה מחשבת התשובה לגמר בשורה. When your idea of tshuva is at its full maturity, שהרי היא מתאחדת אז עם התשובה העליונה. It then is unified with the highest tshuva, for then it becomes unified with the higher tshuva. And what is the higher tshuva about? Shekol ikar kavanatahi, its entire intention is lo behachlashat haratzon. It's not to weaken the will. Uveshvirat haofi ha'ishi shel ha'adam, or breaking the person's individual character. The essential purpose of the tshuva elyona is dafka be'imutz retzono, is actually to strengthen their will, vehagbarat ha'erech shel ishiyuto, and increasing the value, the importance of this person's being, of the enhancement, the value of their personality, of their being. And through that, mitoch kach hazdonot mitafchot lezchuyot. Through this, all the sins are transformed into merits. Right? It's rabbinic language. The zedonot are transformed into merits. And through that way, through the higher tshuva, in which we strengthen our will for the good, and then everything we do is transformed for the good. Uve shuv rasha mirishato, and in the movement of an evil person away from their wickedness, their badness, ve'oseh mishpat v'tzedakah, and doing mishpat and tzedakah, which are that's ultimately the core of what Israel is about, la'asot tzedakah u'mishpat. When a person is doing that, aleihem hu yichya, he'll be able to live, I guess because of the merits that he's transformed. Let's read the continuous translation. There is a deficiency in the lower part of tshuva, in that it weakens our will and therefore harms our personality. This deficiency is removed when the idea of tshuva reaches its full maturation, for then it becomes united with the higher tshuva, whose essential purpose is not the weakening of the will, nor the breaking of a person's individual character, but precisely the strengthening of their will and the enhancement of the value of the importance of his being. And through this, deliberate sins are transformed into merits. And when a wicked person turns from his wickedness and practices justice and righteousness, by them, by the merits that the deliberate sins that are transformed into merits, by them he shall live. That will give him his right to life. And that's good news. I can say is that, again, it's the Torah is saying that there's nothing in the way, ultimately, of us reaching total goodness and really transforming all the evil into good everywhere on the planet Earth. And may our learning and yearning, and also understanding that this is really what the Torah is teaching us and wanting us to do. And Israel is doing it in many ways. It's amazing to see in so many ways. So may we be blessed to come to our full strength, and our highest will for the good be the determining factor in history. And because it is becoming that way, it is actually this whole process we're going through. And so may our learning and yearning bring immediate victory to Tzva Haganah Israel, and healing to the so many wounded, comfort to the so many mourners, elevation of all the holy souls, and may all the evil just evaporate, and may Iran give all the oil to tzedakah for the entire world. B'meira b'yameinu v'nomar.
Amen. Amen.
So Rabbi Joe is. Oh, well, let me turn off the recording. But is